Welcome to our 100-question U.S. history quiz for grade 12. This multiple-choice quiz covers the major events, people, and ideas that shaped America from the 1800s to modern times. Ideal for students, teachers, and anyone who loves history. What was the goal of the women's liberation movement in the 1970s? A. End slavery. B. Expand railroads. C. Promote gender equality. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is C. Promote gender equality. The women's liberation movement sought gender equality in workplaces and society. What was the impact of the energy crisis in the 1970s? A. Ended slavery. B. Expanded railroads. C. Promoted trade. D. Raised oil prices. The correct answer is D. Raised oil prices. The energy crisis in the 1970s raised oil prices, impacting the U.S. economy. What was the significance of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution in 1964? A. Promoted trade. B. Ended slavery. C. Escalated Vietnam War. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is C. Escalated Vietnam War. The Gulf of Tonkin Resolution escalated U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. What was the significance of the 3 Mile Island incident in 1979? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Raised nuclear safety concerns. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Raised nuclear safety concerns. The 3 Mile Island incident raised concerns about nuclear power safety. What was the impact of the Roe v. Wade decision in 1973? A. Legalized abortion. B. Ended segregation. C. Expanded voting rights. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Legalized abortion. Roe v. Wade legalized abortion nationwide, impacting women's reproductive rights. What was the impact of the Volstead Act of 1919? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Enforced prohibition. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Enforced prohibition. The Volstead Act enforced prohibition, leading to illegal alcohol trade. How did the U.S. justify its imperialistic policies in the late 19th century? A. Manifest destiny. B. Humanitarian aid. C. Military defense. D. Economic necessity. The correct answer is A. Manifest destiny. Manifest destiny justified U.S. imperialism, promoting expansion as a divine mission. What was the purpose of the Clean Air Act of 1970? A. Ended slavery. B. Reduced air pollution. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Reduced air pollution. The Clean Air Act of 1970 reduced air pollution through environmental regulations. What was the significance of the Plessy v. Ferguson decision in 1896? A. Upheld segregation. B. Granted voting rights. C. Ended segregation. D. Expanded citizenship. The correct answer is A. Upheld segregation. Plessy v. Ferguson upheld segregation, legalizing separate but equal facilities. What was the impact of the 2008 financial crisis on global markets? A. Caused global recession. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Caused global recession. The 2008 financial crisis caused a global recession, impacting markets worldwide. What was the significance of the Palmer raids in 1919, 1920? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Ended slavery. D. Targeted suspected communists. The correct answer is D. Targeted suspected communists. The Palmer raids targeted suspected communists, reflecting Red Scare fears. What was the purpose of the Black Lives Matter movement? A. End slavery. B. Address racial injustice. C. Promote trade. D. Expand railroads. The correct answer is B. Address racial injustice. Black Lives Matter addresses racial injustice, focusing on police reform and equality. What triggered the Great Depression in 1929? A. Dust Bowl. B. Prohibition. C. Stock market crash. D. World War II. The correct answer is C. Stock market crash. The stock market crash of 1929 triggered the Great Depression, causing economic collapse. What was the impact of the personal computer revolution in the 1980s? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Transformed communication. The correct answer is D. Transformed communication. The PC revolution transformed communication, business, and daily life. What economic policy characterized Reagan's presidency in the 1980s? A. Reaganomics. B. New Deal. C. Monroe Doctrine. D. Great Society. The correct answer is A. Reaganomics. Reaganomics emphasized tax cuts and deregulation to stimulate economic growth. What was the purpose of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA? A. End slavery. B. Increase trade. C. Expand railroads. D. Promote isolationism. The correct answer is B. Increase trade. NAFTA aimed to increase trade by reducing barriers among the US, Canada, and Mexico. What was the significance of the Black Lives Matter movement in the 2010s? A. Promoted trade. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Addressed racial injustice. The correct answer is D. Addressed racial injustice. Black Lives Matter addressed racial injustice, advocating for police reform. What was the primary goal of the Progressive Era reforms? A. End slavery. B. Promote isolationism. C. Expand military. D. Reform government and society. The correct answer is D. Reform government and society. Progressive Era reforms aim to address corruption and inequality in government and society. What was the purpose of the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks, SALT? A. Ended slavery. B. Promoted trade. C. Limited nuclear arms. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is C. Limited nuclear arms. SALT limited nuclear arms, reducing Cold War tensions between the US and USSR. What was the impact of the space race in the 1950s and 1960s? A. Advanced space exploration. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Advanced space exploration. The space race advanced space exploration, culminating in the 1969 moon landing. What was the significance of the Korean War, 1950 to 1953? A. Ended the Cold War. B. Contained communism. C. Expanded trade. D. Promoted isolationism. The correct answer is B. Contained communism. The Korean War was a Cold War conflict to contain communism, ending in a stalemate. What was the purpose of the Truman Doctrine in 1947? A. End slavery. B. Expand railroads. C. Contain communism. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is C. Contain communism. The Truman Doctrine aimed to contain communism by aiding nations resisting Soviet influence. What was the impact of the Stonewall riots in 1969? A. Began gay rights movement. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Began gay rights movement. The Stonewall riots sparked the modern gay rights movement in 1969. What was the significance of the Civil Rights Act of 1964? A. Promoted trade. B. Banned discrimination. C. Ended slavery. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is B. Banned discrimination. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 banned discrimination in employment and public places. What was the purpose of the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001? A. Improve education standards. B. End slavery. C. Promote trade. D. Expand railroads. The correct answer is A. Improve education standards. No Child Left Behind aimed to improve education through standardized testing. How did the Dust Bowl affect the U.S. in the 1930s? A. Caused mass migration. B. Increased urbanization. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded industry. The correct answer is A. Caused mass migration. The Dust Bowl caused mass migration from the Great Plains due to drought and soil erosion. What was the impact of the end of the Cold War in the early 1990s? A. Start of Vietnam War. B. Soviet Union collapse. C. End of World War II. D. Expanded trade. The correct answer is B. Soviet Union collapse. The Cold War's end with the Soviet collapse reduced global ideological tensions. What was the purpose of the Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA? A. Ended slavery. B. Expanded railroads. C. Provided rural electricity. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is C. Provided rural electricity. The TVA provided electricity to rural areas, improving infrastructure during the New Deal. What was the impact of the Internet in the late 20th century? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Increased global communication. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Increased global communication. The Internet revolutionized communication, commerce, and access to information. What was the main reason for U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War? A. Promote trade. B. Contain communism. C. Expand territory. D. End slavery. The correct answer is B. Contain communism. U.S. involvement in Vietnam aimed to contain communism, supporting South Vietnam. What was the significance of the 26th Amendment in 1971? A. Ended slavery. B. Lowered voting age to 18. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is B. Lowered voting age to 18. The 26th Amendment lowered the voting age to 18, expanding democratic participation. What was the purpose of the Department of Homeland Security? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Enhanced national security. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Enhanced national security. The Department of Homeland Security enhances national security post 9/11. What was the purpose of the Indian Self-Determination Act of 1975? A. Promoted Native American self-governance. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Promoted Native American self-governance. The Indian Self-Determination Act promoted Native American self-governance. What was the impact of the Occupy Wall Street movement in 2011? A. Promoted trade. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Protested economic inequality. The correct answer is D. Protested economic inequality. Occupy Wall Street protested economic inequality, highlighting wealth disparities. What was the impact of the 18th Amendment and the Volstead Act? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded voting rights. C. Enforced prohibition. D. Legalized alcohol. The correct answer is C. Enforced prohibition. The 18th Amendment and Volstead Act enforced prohibition, banning alcohol sales. What was the cultural significance of the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s? A. Expanded industrialization. B. Promoted African American culture. C. Supported segregation. D. Ended prohibition. The correct answer is B. Promoted African American culture. The Harlem Renaissance promoted African American culture through art, music, and literature. What was the impact of the Panama Canal's completion in 1914? A. Improved global trade. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted isolationism. The correct answer is A. Improved global trade. The Panama Canal's completion in 1914 enhanced global trade routes. What was the significance of the Scopes trial in 1925? A. Debated evolution in schools. B. Expanded railroads. C. Promoted trade. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is A. Debated evolution in schools. The Scopes trial debated teaching evolution, reflecting cultural tensions in the 1920s. What was the main cause of the Persian Gulf War in 1991? A. End of the Cold War. B. Cuban Missile Crisis. C. Vietnam War. D. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The correct answer is D. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait in 1990 prompted the U.S.-led Persian Gulf War. What was the impact of the Telecommunications Act of 1996? A. Expanded railroads. B. Deregulated media. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Deregulated media. The Telecommunications Act deregulated media, leading to industry consolidation. What was the purpose of the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955, 1956? A. Promote bus integration. B. End slavery. C. Expand voting rights. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is A. Promote bus integration. The Montgomery bus boycott protested bus segregation, sparked by Rosa Parks' arrest. How did McCarthyism affect American society in the 1950s? A. Promoted civil rights. B. Fueled anti-communist fears. C. Ended segregation. D. Expanded industry. The correct answer is B. Fueled anti-communist fears. McCarthyism fueled anti-communist fears, leading to investigations and blacklisting. What was the impact of the interstate highway system in the 1950s? A. Improved transportation. B. Promoted trade. C. Expanded railroads. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is A. Improved transportation. The interstate highway system improved transportation, boosting economic growth. What was the significance of the Bonus Army in 1932? A. Expanded railroads. B. Ended slavery. C. Highlighted veterans' issues. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is C. Highlighted veterans' issues. The Bonus Army highlighted veterans' economic struggles during the Great Depression. What was the significance of the NAFTA agreement in 1994? A. Ended slavery. B. Expanded railroads. C. Increased trade. D. Promoted isolationism. The correct answer is C. Increased trade. NAFTA increased trade among the US, Canada, and Mexico, impacting economies. What was the significance of the September 11, 2001, attacks? A. Great Depression. B. Terrorist attacks. C. End of the Cold War. D. Moon landing. The correct answer is B. Terrorist attacks. The 9/11 attacks led to heightened security and U.S. military actions in Afghanistan. What was the significance of the United Nations establishment in 1945? A. Promoted global peace. B. Ended slavery. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is A. Promoted global peace. The United Nations promotes global peace and cooperation among nations. What was the purpose of the Immigration Act of 1965? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Abolished immigration quotas. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Abolished immigration quotas. The Immigration Act of 1965 abolished quotas, increasing immigration diversity. What was the purpose of the Wagner Act of 1935? A. Protected workers' rights. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Protected workers' rights. The Wagner Act protected workers' rights to unionize and bargain collectively. What was the role of the U.S. in the Iraq War starting in 2003? A. Deposed Saddam Hussein. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Deposed Saddam Hussein. The U.S. led the Iraq War to depose Saddam Hussein, citing weapons concerns. What was the purpose of the Federal Reserve Act of 1913? A. End slavery. B. Regulate banking. C. Expand railroads. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is B. Regulate banking. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 created a central bank to stabilize the economy. What was the purpose of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, created in 1970? A. Expand railroads. B. Protect the environment. C. End slavery. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is B. Protect the environment. The EPA, created in 1970, regulates environmental protection to ensure sustainability. What was the significance of the March on Washington in 1963? A. Advanced civil rights. B. Ended slavery. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is A. Advanced civil rights. The March on Washington in 1963 advanced civil rights with King's "I Have a Dream" speech. What event led to U.S. involvement in World War II? A. Pearl Harbor attack. B. D-Day invasion. C. Cuban Missile Crisis. D. Berlin airlift. The correct answer is A. Pearl Harbor attack. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 led to U.S. entry into World War II. What was the significance of the Iran hostage crisis in 1979-1981? A. Ended slavery. B. Promoted trade. C. Expanded railroads. D. Strained U.S. Iran relations. The correct answer is D. Strained U.S. Iran relations. The Iran hostage crisis strained U.S. Iran relations after diplomats were held captive. What was the purpose of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal? A. End slavery. B. Promote isolationism. C. Military expansion. D. Economic recovery and relief. The correct answer is D. Economic recovery and relief. The New Deal aimed for economic recovery, relief, and reform during the Great Depression. What was the significance of the Watergate scandal in the 1970s? A. Ended Reconstruction. B. Expanded civil rights. C. Started the Cold War. D. Led to Nixon's resignation. The correct answer is D. Led to Nixon's resignation. The Watergate scandal led to Nixon's resignation, eroding trust in government. What was the impact of the Tet Offensive in 1968? A. Ended the Vietnam War. B. Promoted trade. C. Started the Cold War. D. Shifted public opinion. The correct answer is D. Shifted public opinion. The Tet Offensive shifted U.S. public opinion against the Vietnam War, exposing its challenges. What was the purpose of the Glass-Steagall Act of 1933? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Regulated banking. The correct answer is deregulated banking. The Glass-Steagall Act separated commercial and investment banking to stabilize finance. What defined the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union? A. World War II. B. Vietnam War. C. U.S. Soviet rivalry. D. Civil War. The correct answer is C. U.S. Soviet rivalry. The Cold War was a U.S. Soviet rivalry defined by ideological and military tensions. What was the purpose of the National Labor Relations Board created in 1935? A. Ended slavery. B. Protected workers' rights. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Protected workers' rights. The National Labor Relations Board protects workers' rights to organize. What was the goal of the Marshall Plan post-World War II? A. Rebuild Europe. B. Expand railroads. C. Promote trade. D. End slavery. The correct answer is A. Rebuild Europe. The Marshall Plan rebuilt Europe post-World War II, countering Soviet influence. What was the purpose of the Peace Corps established in 1961? A. Promote international service. B. Expand railroads. C. End slavery. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is A. Promote international service. The Peace Corps, established in 1961, promotes international service and diplomacy. What was the goal of the Affordable Care Act of 2010? A. Promote trade. B. Expand railroads. C. End slavery. D. Expand healthcare. The correct answer is D. Expand healthcare. The Affordable Care Act expanded healthcare access, reducing uninsured rates. What was the impact of the GI Bill of 1944? A. Expanded railroads. B. Ended slavery. C. Supported veterans' education. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is C. Supported veterans' education. The GI Bill provided education and housing benefits for World War II veterans. What was the significance of the Social Security Act of 1935? A. Provided pensions for the elderly. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is A. Provided pensions for the elderly. The Social Security Act provided pensions for the elderly, a key New Deal program. What was the purpose of the Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1984? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Ended slavery. D. Strengthened criminal laws. The correct answer is D. Strengthened criminal laws. The Comprehensive Crime Control Act strengthened criminal laws and sentencing. What was the purpose of the Voting Rights Act of 1965? A. Protected voting rights. B. Expanded railroads. C. Promoted trade. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is A. Protected voting rights. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 protected African American voting rights. What was the impact of the populist movement in the 1890s? A. Supported imperialism. B. Promoted corporate monopolies. C. Advocated for farmers and workers. D. Ended segregation. The correct answer is C. Advocated for farmers and workers. The populist movement advocated for farmers and workers, influencing later reforms. What was the purpose of the Department of Homeland Security created in 2002? A. Enhance national security. B. End slavery. C. Promote trade. D. Expand railroads. The correct answer is A. Enhance national security. The Department of Homeland Security was created to enhance security post 9/11. What was the significance of the Great Migration in the early 20th century? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Ended slavery. D. Moved African Americans north. The correct answer is D. Moved African Americans north. The Great Migration moved African Americans north, seeking jobs and escaping discrimination. What was the purpose of the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990? A. Promoted trade. B. Protected disability rights. C. Ended slavery. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is B. Protected disability rights. The Americans with Disabilities Act protected disability rights in public and work settings. What was the impact of the Berlin airlift in 1948, 1949? A. Supported West Berlin. B. Ended slavery. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is A. Supported West Berlin. The Berlin airlift supported West Berlin against a Soviet blockade in 1948 to 1949. What was the impact of the Manhattan Project? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Ended slavery. D. Developed nuclear weapons. The correct answer is D. Developed nuclear weapons. The Manhattan Project developed nuclear weapons, used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. What was the significance of the Clinton impeachment in 1998? A. Promoted trade. B. Impeached President Clinton. C. Ended the Cold War. D. Started Vietnam War. The correct answer is B. Impeached President Clinton. Clinton's impeachment in 1998 stemmed from perjury and obstruction charges. What was the main reason for U.S. entry into World War I in 1917? A. Mexican border conflicts. B. Pearl Harbor attack. C. Russian Revolution. D. German submarine attacks. The correct answer is D. German submarine attacks. German submarine attacks on U.S. ships prompted entry into World War I in 1917. What was the significance of the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962? A. Prevented nuclear war. B. Expanded trade. C. Started World War II. D. Ended the Cold War. The correct answer is A. Prevented nuclear war. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 averted nuclear war through U.S. Soviet diplomacy. What was the impact of the Bush v. Gore decision in 2000? A. Expanded railroads. B. Resolved 2000 election. C. Promoted trade. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is B. Resolved 2000 election. Bush v. Gore resolved the 2000 election, confirming George W. Bush's presidency. What was the purpose of the Federal Trade Commission established in 1914? A. Ended slavery. B. Expanded railroads. C. Promoted trade. D. Regulated trade practices. The correct answer is D. Regulated trade practices. The Federal Trade Commission regulates trade to protect consumers and competition. What was the impact of the Kent State shootings in 1970? A. Ended slavery. B. Promoted trade. C. Escalated Vietnam protests. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is C. Escalated Vietnam protests. The Kent State shootings in 1970 escalated protests against the Vietnam War. What was the impact of the Internet on modern U.S. society? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Transformed society. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Transformed society. The Internet transformed society, revolutionizing communication and commerce. What was the purpose of the Lend-Lease Act of 1941? A. Promoted trade. B. Supported allies. C. Ended slavery. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is B. Supported allies. The Lend-Lease Act supplied allies with resources, supporting the war effort before U.S. entry. What was the purpose of the Patriot Act of 2001? A. Enhance national security. B. Expand railroads. C. End slavery. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is A. Enhance national security. The Patriot Act expanded surveillance powers to enhance national security post 9/11. What was the primary cause of rapid industrialization in the U.S. during the late 19th century? A. Political reforms. B. Social equality. C. Technological advancements. D. Agricultural expansion. The correct answer is C. Technological advancements. Technological advancements like railroads and electricity drove U.S. industrialization. What was the purpose of the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914? A. Ended slavery. B. Strengthened antitrust laws. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Strengthened antitrust laws. The Clayton Antitrust Act strengthened laws against monopolies and unfair practices. What was the significance of the Telecommunications Act of 1996? A. Deregulated media. B. Ended slavery. C. Promoted trade. D. Expanded railroads. The correct answer is A. Deregulated media. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 deregulated media, fostering competition. What was the impact of the Affordable Care Act on U.S. healthcare? A. Expanded railroads. B. Promoted trade. C. Expanded healthcare access. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Expanded healthcare access. The Affordable Care Act expanded healthcare access, reducing uninsured Americans. What was the significance of the Obergefell v. Hodges decision in 2015? A. Ended slavery. B. Legalized same-sex marriage. C. Expanded railroads. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Legalized same-sex marriage. Obergefell v. Hodges legalized same-sex marriage nationwide in 2015. What was the impact of the Brown v. Board of Education decision in 1954? A. Ended school segregation. B. Expanded citizenship. C. Ended slavery. D. Granted voting rights. The correct answer is A. Ended school segregation. Brown v. Board of Education ended school segregation, advancing civil rights. What was the purpose of the Equal Pay Act of 1963? A. Expanded railroads. B. Ended slavery. C. Promoted gender pay equality. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is C. Promoted gender pay equality. The Equal Pay Act of 1963 promoted gender pay equality in the workplace. What was the impact of the 2008 financial crisis? A. Promoted trade. B. Ended slavery. C. Expanded railroads. D. Caused economic recession. The correct answer is D. Caused economic recession. The 2008 financial crisis triggered a global recession due to housing market collapse. What was the impact of the Red Scare in the early 20th century? A. Promoted trade. B. Expanded railroads. C. Fueled anti-communist fears. D. Ended slavery. The correct answer is C. Fueled anti-communist fears. The Red Scare fueled anti-communist fears, leading to immigration restrictions. Who was the first African American president of the United States? A. Bill Clinton. B. George W. Bush. C. Barack Obama. D. Joe Biden. The correct answer is C. Barack Obama. Barack Obama, elected in 2008, was the first African American U.S. president. What was the significance of the Camp David Accords in 1978? A. Promote peace in the Middle East. B. Reduce taxes. C. End the Cold War. D. Expand trade. The correct answer is A. Promote peace in the Middle East. The Camp David Accords secured peace between Israel and Egypt in 1978. What was the purpose of the War Powers Act of 1973? A. Limit presidential war powers. B. End slavery. C. Promote trade. D. Expand railroads. The correct answer is A. Limit presidential war powers. The War Powers Act of 1973 limited presidential war powers, requiring congressional approval. What role did the U.S. play in the Panama Canal's construction? A. Shared control with Panama. B. Purchased it from Colombia. C. Financed and built it. D. Opposed its construction. The correct answer is C. Financed and built it. The U.S. financed and built the Panama Canal, securing control after Panama's independence. Who was a central figure in the civil rights movement advocating nonviolence? A. Rosa Parks. B. Martin Luther King, Jr. C. Malcolm X. D. Thurgood Marshall. The correct answer is B. Martin Luther King, Jr. Martin Luther King, Jr. led the civil rights movement with nonviolent resistance. Why did the U.S. Senate reject the Treaty of Versailles in 1919? A. Demanded reparations. B. Opposed the League of Nations. C. Favored economic tariffs. D. Supported imperialism. The correct answer is B. Opposed the League of Nations. The Senate rejected the Treaty of Versailles, opposing U.S. involvement in the League of Nations. What was the purpose of the Great Society programs in the 1960s? A. End slavery. B. End poverty and inequality. C. Expand railroads. D. Promote trade. The correct answer is B. End poverty and inequality. Great Society programs aimed to reduce poverty and promote equality in the 1960s. What was the significance of the Occupy Wall Street movement? A. Expanded railroads. B. Protested economic inequality. C. Ended slavery. D. Promoted trade. The correct answer is B. Protested economic inequality. Occupy Wall Street protested economic inequality, focusing on wealth distribution. Thank you and good luck with your preparation.